Hey, welcome to another edition of the Spirited Conversations with Spirited Leaders. It is said that women wear many hats, but it is impossible and unnecessary to wear all of them at once. The Spirit helps us determine which work to focus on today. The guest I have with me today also wears multiple hats. She is an educationist, founder and co-chair of BEST Group of Institutes and a chancellor of Bharatiya Engineering Science and Technology Innovation University, BEST IU, Anantapur. She is appointed as one of the 10 academicians in the General and Executive Council of Karnataka State Higher Education Council, KSHEC, which is an apex body on education in the state. She is also a regional co-chair of ASOCAM for Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. She is a sociopreneur, co-founder and director of Evergreen Naturals, a company that focuses on cheaper availability of high-quality agricultural inputs to small and marginal farmers, monitoring growth and farming practices, and helping in establishing forward and backward linkages in supply chain management. More on this as we speak. Dr. Rupa Vasudevan, my guest today, has many more feathers in her cap. She is a founder and global president of World Forum for Education, a trustee of Apna Desh Foundation, an honorary trustee of Disha Bharat, and a member of governing council of Indic Academy, Indica, a non-traditional university for traditional knowledge systems. I'm delighted to present this spirited conversations with the spirited Dr. Rupa Vasudevan. Thank you so much, Dr. Rupa, for your time and welcome to my channel.
Thank you, Aparna. Namaste. Very nice to be here, and thanks for having invited me for this rapid chat. And I hope we'll have a nice 1 hour interaction. Probably will empower and make a difference to people also.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as I was saying, you wear so many hats, so many responsibilities and roles. But if you were to pick one journey from all of these that can define you as a person, what would that be?
I think it's extremely tough, making a pick and choose about what I do in my life, because inherently I'm somebody who's passionate about everything I do, like everything. Whether I'm with my daughter sketching with her, whether I am going for a jog or a run, or whether I am at my work, I think I put my life and heart into whatever I do. So picking and choosing one activity or one aspect of my life as the best will not be fair. So, but yes, I think what gives me an everyday encouragement to get up and what fulfills me at the end of the day is the fact that I'm an entrepreneur, and it's not a matter of, maybe I put blindly one foot in front of the other. Sometimes I trip, I fall, but it's about aiming for the moon. It's about walking backwards towards your vision, and feel elated and great about whatever you do every day. And I think the progress that I see within the people who surround me, their successes also make me so proud and fulfilled at the end of the day. I think this journey is most remarkable as an entrepreneur. I wouldn't though rate it as number one, but yes, it's the most fulfilling as of now.
There is educationist, which is something that I've introduced you as, and there's also sociopreneur, because they're two diverse areas of work, right? You're chancellor of BEST IU, and I'm sure that in itself is like fulfilling as well as completely occupying your time and energy, and on top of it, you're doing something for the agricultural sector. How did you find interest in such diverse areas?
At the end of the day, I believe in empower people to get more out of life and to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. So to get more out of your own life, you need to empower others. It's important that I remain curious, I remain proactive, I have empathy, I give back to the community. This is something I've been always telling, in India, education is either a desire to learn or a need to learn. There's two schools of thoughts. But either ways, what we as enablers have to think, does it contribute meaningfully to the student or to the learner? Number one, does the skill set, does the knowledge that you provide contribute to him to find a meaningful place in the society? Second, does it translate, does it contribute to the social and economic value of your nation? These are the two questions one need to ask. And whether it is education, whether it is farming, whether it is agriculture, it is all about making a difference. It's all about making a meaningful change to your life and for the people around you. So I think it is all into one. Now, when I say I'm an enabler of education, it is about encouraging, people to self-reflect, to ask them questions on where do you belong. You yourself understand yourself, your country, your culture, your subjects, your the humanistic values that we would like to inculcate in every individual to give back and make a meaningful change into the society. So I think it's sparking ideas, it's boosting creativity in people. And I find my calling in agriculture, my calling, in growing, in providing healthy food on one side and providing education on the other side, because they are both completely interlinked to each other. And I think it is to become successful, to become accountable to what you do is what is important more than anything else. So I think it's not different, it's all the same. And our agricultural community contributes to about 72% of our nation's population. So it was only important that I start courses in agriculture, in forestry, in horticulture, to ensure that we are giving the right kind of knowledge transfer to the farmers around the university. Extension is built, between how to grow, what to grow, how naturally to grow, how to build healthy food. And I think the company Evergreen Naturals was only supplementing the efforts of supply chain, reaching it to the customer or the consumer on what we were doing at the university as far as the research and the plantations go. So yes, it is all interlinked. It is not different from each other. And I think sociopreneur was by default. And as I said, whether it is a student, whether it is a housewife, whether it is an entrepreneur, or whether it is anybody, a librarian or a faculty or a teacher, ultimately what you give back to the society and what difference do you make is all that defines what you do. So for me, it's just it seamlessly syncs into each other. Everything that I do is seamless. It just integrates into one another.
When you have passion to what you do, the dots get connected.
Right? I completely agree with you.
Right. So making a difference to people's lives and also contributing to the larger good of the people seems to be your purpose. What helped you reach to this point? Like, is there any experience or any lesson that you've learned which contributed to your way of looking at things the way you do?
Aparna ji, I believe that our thoughts have incredible power, in our everyday lives, and our moves, our behaviors are completely a reflection of how we think and what we think on daily basis. What kind of people we engage with and what kind of work we do. More than anything, we need to be in the right frame of mind to be happy, to spread happiness, to encourage people, and to be successful. I think that's when you start imagining unlimited possibilities for you. And that's when you start looking at, uh, possibilities instead of roadblocks, and empower yourself with benefits and not limiting yourself to the four walls uh, of what people have said, or what is written in the books. is something that I strongly believe in. I look at unlimited possibilities, and I want to open up the doors for unlimited possibilities for people around me. um, Risking everything is definitely scary for us, for anyone, for me too. But tell me, how do I make a change or create a change when I don't risk myself, when I don't take that chance? Because I feel that stagnation is the worst that you can do to yourself. Being afraid is the worst that you can do to yourself. As I said, it is better off taking a chance, and I like to create change by taking chances. Uh, I like to, of course, get feedbacks on what I'm doing and how I'm doing things, and implement strategies accordingly. But for my own personal development, I keep myself and my mind open for unlimited possibilities. I just take whatever comes my way. So I think that's how I've reached where I've reached. And yes, I think out of 10 things that I would have done or tried or experimented on, six would have failed. But at least I'm there, right there with four successes into my kitty. And that's what makes me proud, and that's what makes me push harder. Um, I think it's people who move very fast, uh, move against the tides. They are the ones who break things and who defy the conventional behavior, and who really make the change that we call in the world, and who revolutionize things. And I believe completely that success is all about grit. It is all about taking chances. It is about your gut feel and your gumption that this is what is going to be, and I'm going to achieve this. So I think we need to get out of our comfort zones as a first step to everything.
Absolutely. And that's a wonderful mindset. So could we talk a little bit about failures? Any failure story with an intention to normalize it, saying it happens to everybody?
Yeah, see, I'm not going to pretend everything was very smooth, yes, and that I have the ideal formula for success and ideal formula to become an entrepreneur and things like that, or leadership, or you know, yes, there have been several areas where this is not actually taught in university also. It involves basically, when you have a failure, and it could be multiple failures. I don't know if I can narrate one incident of a failure, but there definitely was corona. And we all knew, I was just 1 year old with my university. And while we were just taking first steps, we had a lockdown, a massive lockdown, where more than 250 million children in India itself were at home. So it's I think about taking stock of what is in hand, what is your problem, analyze the situation, have a response plan, that okay, these are the 10 things I'm going to do as a response to my issue, and see what would work best to resolve your issue, and then keep improvising over the path that you've taken, in terms of resolving your problem. Keep taking steps, engage, reframe, improve, change. I think I just don't focus on what went wrong, but then, yes, it is important to highlight also what went well. And we bring in all these aspects together, and then say, okay. But then there's certain about, I love this thing that I read very recently somewhere in, I think, some Twitter handle, that, uh, when you lose something, an upgrade awaits. So there's always an upgrade when you fail. It holds true with people also who we miss, who we lose in life, But when you lose them, the only way to come back to normalcy, because it is not easy, is to say, okay, God does replace what you've lost, and with an upgrade. So yes, I think that's how it is. But Corona times were very tough. We had serious issues more than anything else. Aparna ji, I had issues in engaging with my own people, because it was not technology that was playing as a barrier, it was the mindset. We are traditionally driven universities where we have set laws, set statutes, ordinances by which and a course works, and a course's learning outcomes are defined. Now, to bring in the critical pedagogical perspectives in digital education was extremely tough for our faculties, for our students. I mean, to start with, a class of 50 minutes is crunched to a class of 15 minutes, because you cannot possibly have an attention span of a student who, first of all, the students are stripped off their faces for seamless bandwidth. The faculty is not seeing anybody out there. And moreover, he has to scrunch the class into 15 minutes such that, the engagement of question and answer session is more, interactive sessions are more than, him teaching the student, practical classes, then assessments. How do you assess a student when he is in a remote area? So there were so many hurdles, and I would not call this a failure. I would call this a huge roadblock that was there. And thankfully, with my team, and as I said, with a resolved plan in place, we could mature into a more sensitive. I think what it taught us was, we all became so sensitive to students around us, to people around us, understand how important it is, the social life that we have around us. And it also helped in my students and my faculties and my teachers, engage into conversations like never before. So the teacher-centric became student-centric suddenly. And everything was about creating that engaging, interactive atmosphere to the student. So I think these are the positives that I learned out of it. But while we were at it, it was very tough. It was tough. Each day was a new scenario. So yeah, I would not call that a failure, but yes, it was definitely a huge setback.
And how you take care of yourself when you're down determines how quickly you rise up. Right? So any incident in your, around you, or even in your life where you are in that low phase, and then there's something that you told yourself, or something that your own mantra of coming out quickly, getting up and getting started?
Yes. See, we all overthink once a while, and we all have our ups and downs, and that's okay, because we are all social beings. We have a social circle, and everything doesn't go as per how you want it to go. But if you second guess every decision you make, if you don't go with the flow several times, I think you will never get anything done. I think you will lead a very boring, uh, boring, colorless life. I would rather not ruin my prospects by being indecisive than say that, okay, I didn't do it, I didn't take the risk. I would rather take the risk and say, okay, I was not being indecisive. I rather took the chance, and I did not allow my set mindset to control my thoughts and actions. So I think starting and acting on instinct has been me. So I will continue to do that no matter what challenges or whatever issues I have along the way.
Awesome. But I'll still ask you, while you pursue, or you listen to your intuition, and while you go ahead in that direction, there's always a time when nothing works. A lot of us go through it, right? Especially if you're in a situation where you're wearing multiple hats at home and multiple hats at work. So when you're wearing so many hats, and you have to go through different situations in different roles, there's always a possibility of feeling low, or feeling down, or something not right, or something not working. It's like a blah time. What do you do at that time when you're feeling blah and mood off?
See, we women are generally the nurturing kind. We are much stronger. I wouldn't like to make this as a blanket statement, but generally we are stronger in terms of our nurturing ability, our empathy, our humility, our ethical integrity.
And pain bearing too. We can easily take a lot of pain.
Yeah, that's where we are adaptable in that sense, and we we are explorative as a person, because this is inherent in us. And I think nurturing relationships is our core. It comes with ease with every woman. I've seen them work. I've been, and then that balance that they bring in at home, at work. Now I will give you an example where I was a vice chancellor at one point, and when in my role I was also needed to talk to the other vice chancellors of the state, of the country, etc. And I probably would have been the youngest. And there were times when some senior professors would come up to me and say, "Oh, this girl, she should have been an assistant professor. Look at her, she's leading something so big." So, yeah, it is normal. And at that point, you kind of feel that pang, of yeah, where is it that I am anyway lesser than the others. And so yeah, as a woman, we take all this, we take more, we take from the family, from people around us, from our friends, but nevertheless, we're very, very strong from within, and it comes naturally to us. So I think wherever I was stuck, I had other women helping me out. I used to see other people doing the same thing and still coming out of their the problems or issues that they undergo. And I think we are far better than this huge percentage of women who do not have any uh, any um, any avenue to contribute to anything, actually. So I think a woman, wherever she is, whether she's at home, a homemaker, or whether she's at work, or whether she's an entrepreneur, or whether she's a teacher, I think she brings in the humanistic qualities and the person oriented one-to-one outlooks, interactive styles, which I do not think uh, males bring in very easily. Not being a feminist here, but these are things that I have observed over a period of time. And I've seen men handling similar issues and women handling similar issues around me. So, yes, I can say this for a fact. Leadership is hard and entrepreneurship is super tough. First realization for you should be everyone contributes to what you are, and that you can learn from everyone. I'm very curious by nature, and in any case, I learn from people. The day I say I've learned everything and I know it all, I am redundant that day. I started doing this very recently, about 6 years ago, to make myself obsolete and say, okay, I don't exist. Now let's see how everything works out for all of us. Actually, the workplace right now, the workplace for the near future is changing rapidly, especially in the education scenario, and what we need as a workforce for future. And trust me, as enablers of education, as universities, we are uniquely positioned today to integrate the traditional expertise with digital technologies, with digital innovations, to create these profound learning experiences for the learners, which are aligned to the future of work.